This monologue is about anxious attachment. The attachment that the young child has with a parent which has anxiety at its basis. This can happen for a number of reasons, but one of the main reasons is what we call the hurried child. The hurried child is that child that grows up in an environment where, for whatever reason, the mother and father are not emotionally present. They can in fact be physically distant as well. For instance, if the mother gets ill and has to spend lots of time in hospital when the child is in its first 6 years of life, or for whatever reason has to move away from the home, and when that happens, the father or the someone else does not fill the role to provide a consistent and safe attachment figure for the child. When the child is in such a situation, it feels insecure, and therefore the if it feels insecure, it will have anxiety, and if that persists over a period of time, then the anxiety will develop to such a degree that it's in the child's nature, in its character, in its bones. It's not a superficial or surface type thing. When that happens, the usual behavioral and cognitive strategies of relaxation and breathing aren't enough to deal with the anxiety and the panic attacks that can result from that. When that happens, you have to deal with it in another way besides the usual strategies that I just mentioned. One way of doing that is to bring the anxious attachment of the person into the relational, to bring the anxious attachment of the person into the therapeutic alliance or therapeutic relationship between therapist and client. You bring the panic attack into the relational, and therefore one can do a whole variety of different things than the usual strategies. Pivotal to this, or central to this whole process, is that you learn to love your panic, that you make your anxiety your little friend or your little buddy, and that is done with the therapist. That is done with the therapist and the client in the therapeutic alliance between them. Then you will be looking at a more somatic, often a pre-verbal level where this anxious attachment may have developed in the first place.